Hello friends, you're with the Lonesome Gamer, and I'm playing Fireteam Zero. I'm still doing the campaign A Mother's Love, and this is the second mission. And well, it's hard to tell. I mean, I think we're doing okay. The coin is still on the good side here. We already managed to solve one objective. We found the source of the worms. We have to do 2 more objectives. Basically, it means we have to find one, investigate the church bells, and purging the town is something we can simply do by placing a fire token in a space, and then yeah, and then it will happen automatically. So we don't have to do we don't have to search any more objects or so to fulfill this last objective here. And the thing why I was hesitating is I'm actually not sure when I should start to burn it down. If I wait until after this first twist, then the scenario will go up to turn 13, simply because with each twist a new tile will burn, and we can only ignite one tile, and from then on the flames will spread on their own. So I'm considering if I ignite one tile now before this first twist happens, I could also leave the map then after the third twist already. And there's only one more objective to find. So that's kind of interesting. On the other hand, if we ignite it now, then we have actually to burn a second area right after this action, right after this phase. And that means if we move around in this burning area, we will actually take damage. So that's a little risky. Therefore, I think I will wait a little bit. I might try to explore this marker, for example. I might even considering spreading out. I mean, there is a risk, that's true. But if I, for example, manage to explore these 2 markers, there is a real chance that I can find that last token, and then maybe then I could, I don't know, it's a tough decision. We'll find out. Okay, we also have another interesting option here. We got this, I don't know how it is spelled, Arc rune, which allows us to shuffle the discard pile into the draw pile. And I'm actually considering doing this. The reason is we got twice the command decision here, which allows us to keep a card after doing an attack. So for example, these cool satchel charges, I've already used the command decision to play them, and instead of discarding them, keeping them. So that is a very useful thing. Apart from that, we already have this green card and these two special upgrade cards also drawn. So I think it's a good idea now to shuffle the deck again, and maybe if we're lucky, we draw another one of these command decisions. Okay, I think I'm going to start once more with, and by the way, I haven't drawn one of these command decisions. I'm going to start with Sunny, and I'm simply going to move from here to here and search for the next objective. So let's see what we get here. Maybe we're lucky this time. It would be awesome if we could get the last objective here. Let's see. Well, that simply says from below. The ground shifts and bulges under your feet as nightmare creatures claw their way into the light. Fuck. Spawn 3 monsters. Oh. Spawn 3 monsters from the spawn pool in this location, selecting elites if possible. If fewer than 3 monsters are available, spawn all available. Well, as you can see, nobody's available. We were really lucky here. Nothing happened. Okay, then Rat moves. And he also takes that risk. He moves 2 spaces over here. And then he will also search. I know it's risky to spread out that far, but we definitely can cover a lot of area here, and maybe it's worth it. Maybe it is. So let's see what we get. Come on. Oh shit, no discovery here. Unexpected company. Maybe it caught your scent, or maybe it just doesn't like the way you look. Either way, it's headed right for you. The nearest monster immediately activates and targets you. Well, okay, what is the nearest monster? Now this guy is 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces away. This guy here, 1, 2, 3 spaces away. This guy, 1, 2, 3 spaces. So is this guy, 1, 2, 3 spaces. It's hard to tell. I mean, they're all these 3 guys are all the same decision, all the same distance. I think I'm going to take this guy because he comes the closest. So it kind of makes sense to take him, I guess. So this is 1, 2. That's not good, because by the end of the turn, he can then enter my space and attack me. Anything I got? Doesn't seem so. Okay. And now it's Frank. And I missed one thing. This guy's special ability is the entanglement, so I cannot move out of that space with Frank, which I would love to do. I have to kill him first before I move out, but because I only have my only valuable cards are these bomb cards. I'm pretty sure I won't be able to do that. Or maybe I have a good card. What about this one? No. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do then is I'm going to attack this guy up here. using all my grenade cards. It's kind of a shame because they got a range of 2, so they would have been more useful from a greater distance. But I could have even stopped this guy, but he definitely becomes dangerous in the next turn if I don't do anything about him. So that means that I got 3 dice, and I already have 2 successes. You can see that here. So already, all I need is now, basically 6 successes with 3 dice. In addition, I'm the grenade launcher expert. When you perform a bomb attack, you may discard a card to re-roll all of your attack dice, and may do so multiple times per attacks. So I got a few cards here, so I guess I got a good chance to kill him. We need 6 hits. 6? Was that what I needed? Well, that's not too impressive, actually. So I got already 2. Wow. That's tough, man. I should have thought this through maybe a little better. Okay, I want to risk... Oh, baby, maybe that's a pretty bad idea. What are the odds? Okay, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna discard a card, re-roll all my dice. And that was even worse. Oh, fuck it. No, shit. That was a very bad idea. I should have helped him somehow. Okay, so here's the thing. I cannot leave the area then. I have to stay here with the leader to help him out there. Otherwise he's screwed. So I'm gonna use that. Shit. I'm gonna use that last card. Maybe I'm lucky. Maybe I can do it. Well, that wasn't actually so bad. We got now 4 successes, and I got 1 reroll because of the specialist. So if I get 2 more successes, I would be able to kill him. There is a chance. It's hard, but it's possible. Come on. Oh, fuck. Okay, so that was a pretty stupid idea, actually. There went all my cards for nothing. And yeah, okay. Now it's the leader, and we still got to kill this guy. But there is a way to do that. And my plan is to use actually these 2 cards. And in addition, I want to reduce, and that is actually something that I should have used against the other guy. I want to reduce fire in the. I want to play fire in the hole. Play before an ally performs an attack to reduce the target's resistance. But that, I can't do that to 0. But I have to be in the same space, so that is not possible. What about this one? He is also not in the same space. Bullet attack. Yeah, so it seems like we have to do it. So let's hope for the best here. We got 6 dice. I mean, that's quite a lot. Let's hope we can do it. So we already have 2 hits. That means we need 6 hits here. Yeah, great. Now we only have grenade hits. This is ridiculous. We have a ton of grenade hits, but I can reroll 1 die. So that means, yeah, I'm gonna reroll 1 of this. Oh fuck, that's not fair, man. That's not fair. So now we're really screwed. Now we rolled only the grenades that we needed before. Okay, so now we are in a ton of trouble, and that might even be the end of the game. It's possible, at least. We'll see about that. It's not looking good at all. So, wait a minute. Oh, there's nothing we can do. Okay, we'll see. We're really fucked. Okay, we start activating this guy, and he attacks the leader. Is there anything I can do to prevent that from happening? I don't think so. Well, that one might be useful, but I'm in the wrong space here. First of all, this goes up, and we might be even into deeper trouble. Erratic. If a blank is rolled when activating a monster, reroll it. Yeah, that is horrible, because it simply means... Although I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. That's an interesting question. Once per round, change a monster's activation die result to blank. Well... Technically, this thing is not rolled then, okay? So I guess I want to give me the advantage, otherwise this guy would be pretty useless. So I think I will allow that this is still a valid option. Okay, is there anything I can do to help me here? I don't think so. We have to take that hit or that attack. 3 dice. That was not good, but was still okay. It's 3 hits, so we lose all our life points, but we're not damaged yet. Okay. Then, let's see. Then I'm gonna play... Shit. Play before a minion activates. Yeah, that's only about minions. It's not possible against elites. And it also doesn't help against this guy, because he... Well, it's actually about him. I mean, he can definitely play it to prevent him from moving. So, yeah. That's what he does. He plays this scatter shot, so this guy doesn't move, which is helpful. And... yeah, now it's getting ugly. This guy activates, moves in here, and he also attacks. Yeah, and he also attacks the leader. I mean, there would be also the marksman in here, but he also does not have any cards left. So, yeah, it's the leader in the end. He's somehow... Well, I mean, he won't survive that, right? That's pretty sure. Anyway. Okay, yeah, he's definitely down. We take 4 hits. We don't have any cards left. So that means now we have to flip that coin. The leader goes down, and that's it. Fine. So if we lose now, as long as this coin is on that side, if we lose another character, or if another character goes down, the game is immediately over. And it's not looking good. This guy activates. Now he moves down here. Now I can use Frank's folklorist Minsk's ability to make the die the blank side so he won't move again. That's a good thing. In addition, we have now this guy here, and he moves 1, 2 spaces, attacks him. And this is all so bad. Yeah. But it's only 2 dice. Let's hope it's not too bad. Okay, that's 2 hits. So we're going to remove these 2 cards. Now let's see, what about him? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But he's going to go for the leader, so it's 1, 2, 3 basically. Okay. And we got a roll. And he moves another space, which is a problem. Oh, actually the leader is already dead. So that means he's gonna go for the other guy. For Sonny, because he was then first. Okay, that is probably good, because otherwise, if Frank would be attacked, the game would be over right now. Probably, at least. That's also bad news. Yeah, I mean, this is over now. I think we can be pretty sure about that. We lose 2 cards, our good cards. Well, we could keep... No, actually we lose 3 cards. So we're also down to 0. And it's not over yet, simply because, first of all, this guy activates 1 space. And he can do another movement action then. So he moves here, but the real problem is this guy. And that's a thing. I mean, it's pretty sure that he will attack here. So it's 1, 2, and then we're going to roll. And remember, even if we roll blank, we got to roll a second time. Yeah, okay, that's definitely good enough. So he attacks now. Also done. And that's probably the end of the game. Because if we take now just a single hit, it's over. Yeah. And there's absolutely nothing we can do against it. And that's it. There is it, our single hit. It was only a single hit, but that was just enough. Okay, it's over. The game is over. Shit. And yeah, it clearly was that mistake with this attack. I mean, that was just so stupid. Throwing only the 2 grenades or the 3 grenades, that was simply not good enough. And I could have known that. So if you make a mistake like that, you probably lose the game. It's as simple as that. You have a good chance to keep things under control, but I mean, in addition to this, I was kind of unlucky that I didn't manage to kill this guy. That's also an important point. I just didn't roll these... I only rolled grenades when I needed the fists, and I was really unlucky at that point. Even with a reroll, I didn't manage to kill him. Still, my situation would have been pretty desperate anyway. So let's talk a little bit about the game. Let's start with the components. Of course, let's start with the miniatures. I think the miniatures are just completely fantastic. First of all, they are really big. I mean, really big. And these are solid miniatures, not like, I don't know, like in Shadows of Brimstone or so, these things that you have to glue yourself or so. They are really heavy, very good quality, and as I said, these are big miniatures. Even the minions or so, even they are bigger than I think what we see from Zombicide or so. I'm not absolutely positive, but these suckers are big, that's for sure. And they're also really detailed. Yeah. And of a very good quality. The maps, they look good. I mean, the thing is, they look all very dark. And, you know, I mean, the quality of the component is very good. There is no doubt. No warping issues here. Also, all the tokens of a thick, very good quality. The cards are fine. This game is top-notch. Quality is great. The only thing I have to... I don't like the color of the die, but that's all. So, for that, it's awesome. The design and the art is also very good, although, you know, I mean, in a way, these monsters, they look in some way all kind of similar, you know. I mean, it's hard to describe, but they are not really different. There are these kind of out of trees grown monsters or whatever. We haven't seen them, but they exist. So it's kind of a mixture between human or humanoid and tree or something, which is definitely interesting, but it feels like there are some of them, and that's and you know, then the ones with the worms, and there are also dogs with worms and all, and this is, I don't know, a little more different creatures would be cool. Maybe some Nazi soldiers, you know, just some standard guys, and then these creepy ones. Maybe a little more something like that. But that is, you know, that's not a big issue. The maps look also great. The map in the base game, I mean, the outside maps, they are also dark. I understand that. They want to give us a dark atmosphere. That kind of works. But maybe it could have been a little more interesting. I mean, the thing is, if we paint these things, and I probably will, then it might look even better. So this is all kind of nitpicking here. I see a real problem with the map design, though, especially when I take a look at the outside maps. All the outside map, also the ones from the Africa cycle and the ones from the European cycle, they have nearly no buildings. I mean, there are buildings on the map, but it's not like you can go inside and kind of hide there, or you know, that they kind of block line of sight or slow the monsters down or something. basically it's just these spaces, and you could imagine it's just an empty area there, and they can just move from one space to another, especially because this difficult terrain doesn't stop monsters. In this mission, for example, these cover terrain things have also very little effect, because the monsters only have a range of 0. I mean, okay, there is a twist that could extend that, but basically they have a range of 0, and if there's a range of 0, cover has no effect. It could be to your disadvantage if a monster is in cover and you attack it, then you have to subtract 1 or so. But overall, the terrain effects in this game are very, very little. And that's, first of all, because of the map design, and second of all, because of the rules. In a game like Gears of War, for example, and this, I mean, Gears of War is clearly the predecessor to this game, you know. There is so much in common. This is basically a light, I'm not even sure if I want to say light, but this is kind of a redesign of Gears of War. I think we can say that. This card mechanic is very similar. You have also cards that basically work as your life points. You have to discard them if you are hit. You can play them for 2 possible options. You can play them as attacks, or you can play them as reactions. Here, though, the reactions are more interesting. And team play is even more important than in Gears of War. That's at least what I think, because the reactions offer you more options during team play. In Gears of War, I think you only have 3 different reaction options. You can do some cover fire, which reduces the enemy's attack. You can add some fire, I think, or you can add strength to your partner's fire, and you can move together with him. I think these were basically the 3 main options that you have in Gears of War. Here there is so much more that goes on, and that's a very cool idea. Another very good thing about this, which is definitely better than Gears of War, is these tactical cards, which give you really strong options, really strong possibilities, the attack as well as the tactical option. That's just cool, no doubt here. Also, these focus cards, the special abilities of the different characters are also stronger and more interesting than the special abilities of the characters in Gears of War, no doubt. One important thing, though, in Gears of War is different, and that is the fact that you can only draw 2 cards during each turn. Here, you can always draw your full hand of cards. So after a turn, if you survive, you are completely fit. In Gears of War, you only draw 2 cards. And I think that makes resource management more interesting. You really start to think about each card you play even more than you do here, because you don't get it back. It's kind of an exhaustion effect, you know. Even if you survive, you are still bleeding everywhere or something, and you have only very limited actions, and it takes a while until you are doing better. You can say, okay, I do nothing or very little for 1 or 2 turns to get back to my full cards, and because if you say, okay, I don't play any card, so I don't move or do nothing at all, I can draw 2 cards and then I'm fine again. Here, that is not necessary. Here you can always draw your full hands of cards, and that changes the game quite a bit. And it's hard to say. Is it less interesting? On the other hand, it gives you more options. You can do more. You can do more things. You know, that's playing more cards. I don't know. It's hard to tell. There are a few things, on the other hand, that I prefer definitely in Gears of War. First of all, here, and I really don't like that, you have always all the monsters on the board. I think there are very few scenarios where there might be one monster, one special boss be off the board and he just activates if a special event triggers it or something. But here, usually you have all the monsters on the board. You kill them, they come back. You kill them, they come back. It feels very, very frustrating, at least sometimes. In addition, there are these outside maps. I cannot talk about all of them, but it is extreme in the first scenario, where you are just in the woods and these guys have a movement of 2 and a range of 1. So, I mean, imagine this guy spawns somewhere, you know, I mean, he can move here, then you roll an additional die. So, yeah, let's say he spawned here. You move, he moves 2 spaces, then usually he moves at least 1 additional space, maybe even 2, depends. So let's say he moves 1 additional space, and then he still has a range of 1. So that means he can basically attack spaces here, on the other side of the board, while he spawned over there. And that is something I cannot enjoy at all. I think that's just crap. You don't have that so badly here because they don't have a range of 1 that slows them a little bit down. But still, you know, this is definitely a problem, that you don't have that situation like in Gears of War. When you fight the guys, they stay away, they are killed, they are gone. And of course there are cards that might bring new monsters into play. There is no doubt that happens. But there is absolutely the possibility that you have a situation where there is only 1 or 2 monsters on the board and you have to deal with them. And that gives you a little bit time to catch a breath and to heal a little bit, because I told you cannot draw that many cards. And I like this dynamic more. You know, here it's just this constant fight, always the same monsters again and again and again and again, no matter what you do. Another problem is, and that is also, there was a lot of criticism there, when you kill a monster, you get no reward. It's just gone, that's it. In Gears of War, you have sometimes the monsters, they lose something, some kind of ammo or some kind of weapon or so. You know, basically you draw from a cup and place that, and then you can enter the space and flip it, and then you see, has the monster lost something or not? And it could be a pretty cool item actually sometimes. And that is that's a fun part. Here it's this, okay, kill it and it spawns again, kill it and it spawns again. It feels a little repetitive and frustrating from time to time. With the Africa cycle, we have now the gear cards, and these gear cards, they add definitely also an interesting element to this game. Now you can at least find some objects on the battlefield. That's an interesting point, no doubt. Also, the events are cool. You don't have the events in Gears of War. There are a few event cards that could come up during the activation of the monsters, but in general, the events here are more interesting, no doubt. Another big point is the AI, and here definitely Gears of War lies ahead. It has a very good AI. You have, especially if, I think you have less monster types, less different monster types in Gears of War, but they are all really different. And they all have their own deck. And if you build a deck for a scenario, you basically shuffle all the monster cards together. Usually you have only 3 different types of monsters per scenario, and you shuffle them together, and then you simply draw, and only a single type of monster usually activates. And they often do, they act very differently. You know, there are other monsters that have these little bombs around their body, and they run right to you and do some suicide attempt or something to blow you up. Others, for example, they're kind of a little cowardly, and as soon as they are hit, they try to retreat and heal themselves before they attack again. So there are really some different types of behavior there, and that's more interesting than this simple die. I don't know, I mean, I haven't seen some cool special ability of a monster. That's another problem. With the monsters we've played, all that happens is, yeah, okay, you move just again. So what you have is either move 1 space, or move 2 spaces, or don't move at all. These are the 3 options you have. That's what you call behavior of monsters. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that's not so interesting. The twists are cool. They can change things quite a bit. Definitely an interesting option here. So what can I say about the game? Oh, by the way, another one that is where Gears of War is better, and that's the terrain. In Gears of War you have a straight line of sight rule, a simple but just perfectly working rule for line of sight. That matters. You know, it's an important rule in this other game. Here, especially in these outdoor scenarios, doesn't matter. Line of sight is, you know, no matter if there are everywhere these kind of, I'm not even sure what that's supposed to be. Are these just some, well, I think these are houses. These looks like boxes or something. These things look like boxes, but these are definitely houses. So it's strange, you know. It seems like, yeah, okay, you just can't shoot through a house, and yeah, no, you know, that isn't too great. That might be a, yeah, I don't know. I mean, and another problem is the cover. You have cover here, but somehow it just doesn't feel right. I mean, from what I've played until now, it was so unimportant. I mean, these guys all have a distance of 0, so cover doesn't matter here. And maybe it was because of the scenarios in the map before. We only had a single space where cover was available, so it didn't matter either. And also in the first scenario that I played alone, there were only very few cover options. In Gears of War, it's very different. You really, I mean, you got these other guys, and most of them actually shoot at you with some kind of weapon. There are very few that try to go into close combat. Most of them shoot. And you really run from one cover to another cover, and there are even different types of cover. There's half cover and full cover and so on. And you know, you can really see these guys running through the corridors from one wall to another wall and throwing themselves on the ground and trying to hide behind the walls so that they not get hit and so on. That feels much more real. And here it's a little bit, you know, it's this kind of terrain is simply not important enough here for a tactical shooter. I would love to see more terrain effects in this. So, overall, what can I say? Is that a bad game? Absolutely not. I enjoy it a lot, but it's also not a perfect game. Basically what I like is the team play. That is absolutely vital, and there is a lot of options here. You really have to work together as a team, and that's a lot of fun, and there are many options to do that. And I think especially if you play that also with other players, this might be even more interesting. The game is fast, so that kind of fills a niche, right? You can play this game maybe in an hour, maybe in 90 minutes, depends how you're doing. I mean, this time it wasn't so long. Other games like Gears of War, even Dungeons and Dragons, the adventure board games, I think especially with the setup and so on, these games all take much longer. It's hard to do them under 2 or 3 hours. This one can be done in an hour, and that, you know, that can be important. If you want a good Ameritrash game that you can play in an hour or in under an hour, this is not completely crap and not completely stupid. This is really a good alternative. So, yeah, there's a lot of tactics and so on, but again, the game has definitely its weaknesses. One is the map design is pretty poor, and I got a feeling that the maps all play kind of similar. The other is the monsters are also not too interesting. And yeah, I mean, okay. The combat system is very simple, very straightforward. So, as I said, if you want a light and fast game, that's great. But don't expect something that is really deep and, well, you know, I enjoy it. I think it's great, and hope to see you on the next video or on lonesomegamer.com. Bye.